Book Review: The Frozen People, a mystery by Elly Griffiths. In The Frozen People, acclaimed mystery writer Elly Griffiths ventures into chilling new territory, both literally and figuratively. Known for her beloved Ruth Galloway and Brighton mystery series, Griffiths again proves her deftness at crafting suspenseful narratives, though this time she trades coastal landscapes for an eerily frozen, psychological setting that feels both timely and timeless. With her signature blend of suspense, character-driven storytelling, and atmospheric precision, Griffiths offers a mystery that lingers like a haunting echo on an icy wind. Set in an unnamed, snowbound northern country, The Frozen People begins not with a murder, but with a disappearance. Mona, a young British woman, vanishes while participating in a mysterious research trip. The details of the project she joined are vague, and her last messages to family and friends are cryptic, filled with unsettling observations about the isolation and strange behavior of the other participants. When her parents, unable to get satisfactory answers from the institute she was involved with, travel to the site to uncover the truth, they find themselves entangled in a web of secrets, silence, and something much more sinister than they could have imagined. Griffiths constructs her mystery like a slowly tightening noose. Rather than rely on gore or overt violence, she leans into atmosphere, suggestion, and psychological tension. The landscape plays a major role. It's a place of eternal winter, where the sun barely rises, and time seems to stretch and bend. Griffiths' descriptions of this stark setting are both beautiful and foreboding, evoking the works of Nordic noir authors while retaining her own distinctly British tone. The novel alternates between multiple perspectives: Mona's journal entries, her mother's increasingly frantic search, and the experiences of a local police officer whose past is mysteriously connected to the place known as the Ice Circle. This fragmented structure allows Griffiths to layer tension and suspicion expertly. Each narrator is unreliable in their own way, confused, grieving, or hiding something, which keeps the reader on edge and constantly reassessing what they know. Mona's voice is particularly compelling. Her journal entries reveal a bright, curious, yet increasingly paranoid young woman whose mental state begins to deteriorate as isolation and fear set in. These sections are among the most powerful in the book, capturing the fragile line between intuition and delusion. Griffiths shows empathy for Mona without romanticizing her breakdown, and the result is a portrayal that feels both raw and respectful. As for the mystery itself, Griffiths does not disappoint. While The Frozen People contains fewer conventional clues than her readers might expect, it is rich in atmosphere and suggestion. The real mystery lies not just in what happened to Mona, but in the nature of the experiment she joined and the chilling motivations of those in charge. Griffiths weaves in subtle commentary on scientific ethics, group psychology, and the allure of charismatic leaders, inviting comparisons to real-life cults and psychological experiments gone awry. What makes The Frozen People stand out from other mysteries is its exploration of ambiguity. Griffiths seems less interested in providing a neatly wrapped resolution than in asking unsettling questions. What drives people to disappear willingly? What happens when truth is obscured not by lies, but by silence and denial? And can love, even a mother's desperate love, truly uncover a truth that others have buried under layers of ice and time? That said, readers expecting a fast-paced detective story may find the pacing of The Frozen People more contemplative than thrilling. This is not a whodunit in the traditional sense, but a psychological mystery where the stakes are internal as much as external. The novel draws its power from mood, voice, and emotional depth rather than twisty plot mechanics. It's more Shirley Jackson than Agatha Christie, more We Have Always Lived in the Castle than The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. Still, Griffiths does deliver a satisfying conclusion, one that ties together the narrative strands without undermining the story's essential ambiguity. The final chapters are haunting, not because they answer every question, but because they leave the reader contemplating the truths that cannot be easily explained or forgiven. The novel's last image is particularly memorable, chilling, poetic, and deeply resonant. One of Griffiths' greatest strengths has always been her characters, and The Frozen People is no exception. Mona's parents, especially her mother, are fully fleshed out, their grief and determination rendered with heartbreaking clarity. The local officer, too, is a compelling presence, world-weary, quietly intelligent, and burdened by secrets of his own. Even minor characters, such as the enigmatic head of the research institute or Mona's fellow participants, are sketched with care, their personalities hinted at in gestures, silences, and clipped conversations. Thematically, the novel touches on isolation, trust, and the human desire for meaning. In a world where connections are increasingly digital and fleeting, The Frozen People explores what happens when those connections are severed, by geography, by ideology, or by choice. Griffiths asks us to consider how far we'll go to find the people we love, and how difficult it can be to accept who they become once we find them. There is also a quiet feminist undercurrent running through the book. Mona's journey, her choices, and even her unraveling are rooted in a desire to be seen and valued beyond traditional roles. Griffiths does not cast judgment on her character but rather allows her full complexity, her brilliance, her vulnerability, her rage, to shine through. It's a welcome depiction of a young woman whose voice, though at times shaky, refuses to be silenced. If there is one criticism to be made, it may be that some readers will long for more resolution regarding the Institute and its leaders, while Griffiths offers enough to sketch out their motivations. Some threads are left deliberately loose. This, however, feels more like a thematic choice than a narrative oversight. The Frozen People is ultimately about the limits of knowledge and the illusions of control. In terms of writing style, Griffiths' prose is as assured as ever, clean, evocative, and finely tuned. Her control of tone is masterful. The narrative never tips into melodrama, even as the emotional stakes rise. Instead, she maintains a quiet, growing sense of dread that is far more unsettling than any scream or sudden shock. The cold creeps in gradually, first through Mona's diary, then through the institutional silences, and finally through the reader's own bones. In conclusion, The Frozen People is a gripping, thought-provoking mystery that showcases Elly Griffiths at the height of her powers. It is a novel that trades flash for depth, action for atmosphere, and delivers a story that will linger long after the final page. With its haunting setting, layered characters, and unflinching exploration of grief, belief, and the unknown, it's a bold and memorable addition to Griffiths' impressive body of work. Fans of psychological suspense, literary mysteries, and slow-burn narratives will find much to admire in The Frozen People. It's not just a story of a missing girl, it's a meditation on loss, love, and the frozen places we carry within us. Griffiths invites us to step into the snow, and leaves us wondering what, exactly, we'll find when the ice finally begins to melt.